Welcome back, guys. We are here on the desk after Griffin took game number 1 up against KT. It was a bit of a wonky one. KT got ahead early, had that Yasuo on the bottom lane, getting his farm, getting kills, but then eventually Griffin once again come back to win another game here up against KT. Do they have a chance going into game number 2, Papa?
Honestly, one of the reasons why I say no is not just the previous sailings of these teams in recent weeks. The fact that, honestly, Griffin this game kind of were the prize fighter, you know, the undefeated championship fighter who said, you know, give us your first shot, give us a good go. Because they gave them very good early game solo lanes that potentially could have got a pretty big lead. And KT kind of squandered that. Their solo lanes were actually much more of an issue than their Gragas, Yasuo, you know, bot lane. So because of that, now your worry is if Griffin actually draw for power, can KT find a way to contend with them? I hear the music, I see some swirling. I think we're going to have champ select really soon.
Eventually. It's behind us, so you can see it for now.
Ah.
I'll write down my notes
you
as you guys can see. Galio is the first ban here. Interesting. And then, oh, that's Lucian and Victor. Okay, we'll just live cast all of the bans here for you guys.
Can you actually tell the right side bans?
Yeah.
Should I? I can see the Lucian.
Lucian's there. Left side is Galio Victor.
Uh-huh.
This is our new pick ban system. You guys can reach out to Ryan and tell them your feedback, what you guys think about this one. As Thresh
this is the same as LEC.
Is the next one.
I watched LEC. It's the same as this, right? They're saying the faces are too big.
Yeah. we're here, guys. You know, they know what you want to look at, right? It's not the draft.
We're testing the theory that people love Papa, right? They love Papa and Valdez. So show Papa and Valdez in the big.
Yeah.
This is the way we like it.
You guys don't need to see the game or anything behind us, right?
I'm loving it. Loving it. All right.
We're just the comic relief, you know, in front of the game. You know, the game hasn't started, so it's like, you know, the streamers that do the full zoom on them while it's pick ban, and then they move it back. Well, some streamers move it back.
Well, a notable ban, you can see it. Oh, let's try and do this. Oh, this is actually very hard. Trying to work out where my pen is. Over there. Over there is the Karma's the final ban. And now we're full screen, baby.
Sorry, guys. I know you like the new version here.
Are you apologizing for the change of scene or the Yasuo first pick?
The change of scene, of course. The Yasuo first pick, I don't really know what to think. I mean, it worked, right, because Lehens kind of gave them 2 kills, but then they couldn't actually roll that into winning the game. So definitely a question. We'll have to wait and see if it gets answered.
Well, we're back to disembodied heads now. We're only voices in the ears of the fans. Yasuo first pick. We'll see how far the flex goes. Here's a bet. It's going to be mid lane for Yasuo against Zoe. I think we're going to get Chovy versus BDD on the matchup you see. That's what I'm hoping for. And I heard your sucking in of air, Valdez, and I know why you gasped. Tarzan has locked in the champion that I told the fans that only Score and the only champion Tarzan and Score don't play has historically been the Lee Sin. But you and I were speaking before the game, and I said today Tarzan will lock in Lee Sin. And I realized it's already locked in, so I don't sound like a prophet. So I'll just get to the reasoning. The reasoning why is that on Tarzan's stream, he was popping off on this champion mechanically a couple of days ago. So it's actually his first competitive Lee Sin game since when he was a 17-year-old rookie in 2017. Wow. Ever since that 14-0 Challenger season into summer last year, he has never played Lee Sin. So very notable that he joins now basically everyone in the LCK in being a Lee Sin player.
Lots of ultra clean Lee Sin nowadays. You don't have to look further than Clid as part of SKT, but now Tarzan, he was getting jealous. He wants to show his Lee Sin mechanics off, so we will get that up against KT, who say, enough with this. BDD will be jumping onto the LeBlanc.
And I'm giving you a job, Valdez. You need to rate Tarzan's first LCK Lee Sin on a scale of 1 to Clid. That's what you have to rate him on. We'll see how he does on the 1 to Clid scale.
Okay. Okay. We'll see how that goes.
Don't try and be tricky and say punch, all right? We're going 1 to Clid.
Can it be better than Clid, though, right? Can't we go off the scale?
I gave you a scale. I leave you to rate.
Is Clid a 10?
I leave you to rate.
Okay.
You can work that part out. We'll zoom in on the bans here, and given that no jungler has been claimed by KT yet, we're going to see 1 jungle ban. Interesting to see a Yorick ban. So this suggests that perhaps Sword doesn't want to return to Fiora. His trusty Scion available. His trusty Urgot available. Urgot priority this week, inexplicably, gone. The Nurse are coming on 9.4 if you look at the PBE, but Urgot's really good on 9.3. He escaped the attention that Akali and Aatrox and other champions got a lot more closely. There was a Mordekaiser ban. Let's just leave that one there.
To me, that's like, oh, I have 1 second left. What am I going to ban? I'll just click somewhere randomly. Okay, it's Mordekaiser. Well, we usually like to give the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not sure that we can this time, Papa.
Haven't spotted that in the solo queue of Viper, but very possible. That's something that Viper or Lehens has been practicing in scrims. Probably Viper, given that the Alistair's already locked in here. Another champion who can go to Frostmancy, and that's probably why, Valdez. Because what were we saying? Because the big
two of them right there.
And the big thing we were talking about, right? You and I, during the break, I was discussing how, yes, you can play Ezreal Frostmancy in the LEC, in the LCS. The reason why? Because you've obviously heard it's been nerfed. That part is true, but in a duo lane, it hasn't been changed. Kennen going to be claimed here. This could be a bot lane Kennen for Zenith. This is a trend that started by Fury, who loves the bot lane AP Kennen. It's a very possible thing we're going to be seeing in this game, and it could also be Smeb's legendary top lane Kennen against Urgot, more likely to be top lane now that we think about it.
Yeah.
And we're initiating at this point. How about another knock-up for the Yasuo?
We're going all in. We're going straight on into the pit with Jarvan and the rest of the crew. You get all the knock-ups. You have Kennen going face first into these fights, and BDD for some cleanup there on the LeBlanc. Like this kind of comp, it kind of reminds you of the KT style.
So what is Lehens playing is the last question. We'll get into some of the Frostmancy shenanigans in-game. Once again, approach, it's Darius. Ooh. And where is this Darius going is something we have to wait and see. Darius Flex was played by Summit already. How are they going to line up here? Viper could be on bot lane Darius because against Yasuo, that's the matchup here. Now remember, there can be more swaps. You might have to be chasing around, but they had last pick for bot lane. It seems like Darius to counter Yasuo and Gragas, two melee champions, is the decision by Griffin.
Everybody knows that Darius's big axe is really good against melee champions, as you highlighted. Griffin trying to turn the tables and say, you're too predictable with this. Now, it's definitely Yasuo Gragas in the bot lane. How do we counter that with our red side counter pick? It's Darius.
And let's ask Valdez a quiz question. Who was our first bot lane Darius in the LCK? Because I believe it was Faker lining up in bot lane.
You know, I guess so. Yeah,
exactly.
I remember that.
Remember that?
He played that.
In a duo
that
lane
actually
for
happened.
A bit.
Yeah.
So, joining that great company is Viper. There were so many changes in direction in this draft. The moment we saw the Kennen, we're like, it could be bot. Wait, no, it's Smeb in the top lane against Urgot. A matchup so famous in the LEC, seen many top laners there. Priority picking the Kennen, and Smeb probably the best Kennen of all time. We'll be running on that, so you say, okay, Kennen over Urgot, that part feels good. The mid lane ended up being LeBlanc into Zoe rather than the Yasuo Zoe farm lane. That's also pretty good for the side of KT. But now the Darius of all things to punish double melee in the bot lane. They banned away the Frostmancy, but they still can't keep Viper honest.
No, they can't. This guy, his bag of tricks is very large. As he pulls another one out, the Darius will be joining us in the bottom lane up against Yasuo Gragas. We're going to be jumping into game number 2 right now, guys. KT up against Griffin. The Griffin chance, understandably very large as well. This is something you can do in the top lane too. Smeb, though, is going to Lightning Rush into the brush. Not sure about this one, Smeb, as they're trying to push them away now, and it looks like he will get away. MT taking a bit of damage now as the rest of KT desperately trying to get up here to save him, as at least he got the Klepto proc.
And you understand why that happened, because Kennen wants to take Lightning Rush at level 1 with Kleptomancy and even more gold generation and get Quest and Klepto procs at level 1. You do that against a tank matchup, and you go in and you're fine as Zenith face-checked a level 1 Darius. Let's talk about this.
At least he has
Is there
flash.
any champion more scary to face-check alone at level 1 than the combination of either Urgot or Darius? These are champions who at level 1 are unbelievably powerful. How many people have tried to walk through a tri-brush to top lane against a Darius and given up first blood? That is one of the most common things that will happen in solo queue. If it's a team, then Braum is maybe scarier, but when it comes to solo threats...
Olaf's also annoying.
But Urgot and Darius are right up the top there.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much to talk about in this game, both in terms of lane assignments and also champions, that you're going to have to rein me in, Valdez. I could just go on a monologue about all the cool things that happen in the draft historically and between these lane matchups. The one thing I want to talk about is specifically KT's bans of Mordekaiser Ezreal. Want to, again, have that teacher. I tweeted about this. Frostmancy in solo lanes, like Kennan's doing, that is removed when it comes to the LEC, which is later tonight, and the LCS that goes live tomorrow. In a duo lane, you're within 1,500 range of your ally, so it's still possible. And the question I was asking you, I was sitting there saying, okay, if you ban Ezreal, or if you just say Ezreal can't build Frostmancy, Frostfang, is it fine? Is this going to be fine?
Well,
yes.
Is it fine? I don't know, Lahens. Is it?
It's just an extension of Lahen's game number 1.
Yeah, well, he's angry. He's an angry bull now as he blows his flash for no reason. Did not get the gank off that he wanted this time.
But just to finish, you and I were thinking, we were racking our brains thinking, is there another champion other than Ezreal that can realistically proc the quest in lane on a Frostfang and get away with it? And we thought, okay, maybe Ashe would be okay, doesn't get much out of the AP. Draven gets nothing out of AP but can proc it with his Q. The one we didn't talk about was the Mordekaiser, who of course can go very happily and wave clear and poke with that. That's why there was 2 bans, to stop Frostmancy bot lane and Lahen's getting farmed.
Take a look at the path here from Umti. He went all the way around, and now Sword might have to flash from this one. Will go for the disdain and gets away from the flag and drag. But now Urgot in the top lane will not have his flash.
First good moment of this game. Face-checking Urgot at level 1 was the mistake that Kennen made. You can lightning rush into everyone except maybe Darius and Urgot and be fine. Went in, almost died for his trouble. Did get a sack of gold, though. And looking at the quest, it's at 140 gold. Remember, he needs 500 gold before he realistically starts farming.
And Umti seems totally fine to fight over small little Krugs as Tarzan gets on in, steals a bunch of Raptors. Feeling pretty good about that one for Tarzan.
I watched Smeb as the turret hit the melee minion twice have this moment of do I CS it or do I not? He went for one because Urgot was in range of his jungler and thought I should have enough time before the quest penalty runs out, but how much does it suck to have to avoid CS on purpose? So weird.
It's just so counterintuitive, right? It's just everything, and you guys mentioned this before, like 9 years. I know a lot of these guys haven't been playing 9 years.
7, 6?
All of the years, multiple years of League of Legends where you have to learn how to CS very, very well. And then you're just like, nope, I'm not doing that anymore.
Do
That's
notice,
not my thing.
and again, you can't really practice this at home because this is no longer live on the live client, but in the world where you could play Frostmancy Cannon topside, you max Q first to get the CDR on Q, so you have an ability to proc your Kleptomancy more often. So if you're playing Klepto Cannon, just go straight for the Q max, just so you can throw that one out. You don't even have to throw it at minions if you don't want to push lane. Throw it backwards, but then your auto attacks get the Kleptomancy procs.
Yeah. You just have to use an ability. This is always fun. We take a first look at the mid lane, which seems very even so far. Chovy versus BDD, LeBlanc versus Zoe. As I mentioned before, this is just so refreshing compared to Galio versus Urgot and stuff like that. We have a fun mid lane again, guys.
It's one that should be advantage LeBlanc, just because she should be a little bit more slippery, and her targeted burst can also be pretty comparable to Zoe's at different parts of the game. Cleanse taken by Chovy, and the ignite there from BDD. BDD was kind of the king of solo kills in the mid lane for a while there after week 1 of the LCK, but looked definitely second best to Chovy, even though he was in a good matchup in game number 1.
Take a look at the gold in the top side because Urgot has been denied so much, and he has a giant wave coming in. He's so far behind on CS to the point where actually Smeb was even with him with the Frostmancy build. Here so far, won't be the same after he picks up that wave, but now trying to get on top of Chovy here. That is going to land, but he does have Cleanse and even flashes away from that one. Follow-up Trouble Bubble.
Oh!
Trying to get nasty here. Nearly gets him, but flashes in for the kill. First blood goes to Chovy, but has he got too far? No! The miss is Chovy is going to sidestep, and Umti goes down Chovy. What a madman.
Give this man the full zoom. Give this man a raise. He just punked 2 members of KT, and he did it in style.
I said it, the mid lane is fun again, and having Chovy here in our league is always lots of fun.
This is just outrageous play from Chovy because he doesn't go full defensive. This is not Sword on Fiora. Watch from here. He flashes because he's respecting Ignite Burst from BDD. He goes in here, he picks up a second flash, gets the kill. That part's normal, but watch this play. He goes in for more damage to taunt and then casually sidesteps as Tarzan is backing up. And we don't have enough time to also talk about an amazing play that happened in the top side. It's a lot less interesting for a lot of viewers. But what happened there is, you remember that grouped minion wave that was pushing into an Urgot who had just no CS?
Yeah.
I'm actually unsure about the visual bug here. That's what I'm wondering. I guess it wasn't a visual bug. The reason why I want to talk about it is that what had happened is that Tarzan had gone straight topside, control warded the tri-brush, and was standing in the brush behind that usually people turret dive at to allow the minion wave to be guaranteed as mid lane.
Oh no, BDD. Can he get away from this one? The answer is absolutely not. Tarzan just gonna manner kick the Jarvan away. Nice little Hex Flash played there as Griffin come together for another kill onto BDD.
And the reason why I talk about Tarzan doing everything to guarantee that Urgot didn't lose the top lane CS wave and getting to mid lane means the super play is both on a micro and a macro level. Speaking of a macro super play.
He's back. He's going to have to flash that one. Lehens just gets another summoner off the map. We see those Alistairs in our solo queue that sometimes just give up on their lane and do this. Well, Lehens didn't have a very fun bottom lane, and he's doing fun stuff on the other lanes.
Oh, he has no idea Lehens is still here, of course, because he put through the queue. This is a second one, smart move from Smeb, who's always had a very good top lane.
He might have known because of the minions, not 100% sure.
But I'm struck by the fact that Lehens is having kind of a terrible series. And they're winning anyway.
The rest of the team is just carrying him so hard.
Lehens has basically been in the right spot but tripped like 8 times now. And still, his team is winning. So it's a pretty nice job to be Lehens today.
Sometimes you have a bad day, you know? It's just like that song. But
Thankfully,
he's got a bunch of friends to help him out.
Could I have Chovy smurfing in the mid lane while I have my bad day, please?
Well, Flash comes in and Smeb doesn't have his, and so you just give away your life. Had it pushing into him as well. You did not have to be that close to the Urgot, but I suppose just greeting for the Klepto procs once again, and he's going to pay for it.
Griffin is playing so well this game on a micro level that the YouTube highlights will be obvious. But again, the macro stuff that I keep trying to get to of being there to make sure your Urgot doesn't fall criminally far behind the clock in terms of 10 CS a minute, and then being there as Chovy outplays and baits, that's where it's unfair. That's where they're doing everything right, and your KT Rolster saying, but we got good players, where did it all go wrong?
Well, I feel like one of the only interesting series we've had with Griffin so far, as this is going to be a lot of damage. MT getting out of that one, but Lehens is here. Doesn't have his Ignite, but does he have the damage? It looks like with Chovy, yes, he will. As a third one will go the way, but this time you get that combination from the bottom lane, and it looks like Chovy, unfortunately, will be going down once again. RIP KDA. As he does go down on that one, Lehens still going in, as he wants to force this fight, but not really much will happen. As actually the chains will land. Doesn't look like KT want to continue on this, as they saw the Urgot coming in as well. And that will be the end of that one.
Really impossible to bait for a flash exhaust Darius for long enough in the mid lane. They're always going to see his roam up, so unlikely to pull that one off is Lehens. We've never mentioned Darius because he's been chilling bot lane. He was holding a pretty big CS lead for a while, but we've of course seen the misadventures of Lehens on the top side, which meant Darius has lost out on some minions. Speaking of minions, the quest is not there yet for Smeb, so he is farming with penalty.
So Zenit fighting here because he does have the Gragas coming in. Exhaust is going to be used. He's going for the kill, but this time around, Snowflower is going to be there in time. No cask for Snowflower as well, which means that in the end, actually a winning trade here for the side of KT. Although, actually, at the end, both of them do use both of their summoners, so pretty even at the end.
It was really greedy by Viper to walk up there.
Yeah.
The flash was fine because he was trying to flash ult. It didn't happen. Here's the replay, and it's All about Chovy having already a Lost Chapter and Sorcerer's Shoes when he should only have one of those two items. That's why he does so much damage. Nice roam timing for the hands. In the picture-in-picture, trying to see if we missed anything. No one's dead. We missed so many things yesterday.
I know.
Chovy finally dies to ruin his KDA. People around the world happy or sad, depending on how you feel about Zoe. But just no way to bait for Darius, and the roam up was very opportunistic but unrealistic from Viper.
Lots of mid laners having their KDA ruined today as BDD. Rough game 1, rough start to game 2. Lots of deaths so far. And he was in 4th place in the KDA before this series, so it's always unfortunate when you do go up against Griffin.
Good news, penalty is removed from the cannon, so finally can start farming more normally.
Play some League of Legends, you mean?
He's been able to put the enemy top laner quite far behind the clock, so decent stuff, even if not fantastic. Chovy's getting turret plates in a tricky matchup for the Zoe, so nicely done from him. Omchi trying to join topside. We know that Sword has no flash after the summoner spells have been mixed around.
Tarzan is on the top side of the map. Looks like he may want to help out in the mid lane as they're just bullying BDD at this point. Not going to try for a kill just yet. As well, I spoke too soon. It's Tarzan nearby. Not quite going to get that one super close, but BDD is able to dash away. But the rest of Griffin on in here. We got a one-on-one up on the top side. And uh-oh, Smeb. Looks like you went a little bit too close to the sun. Can that stopwatch stop the ultimate? It will, but it will not stop his death, as Sword will pick up a solo kill on the top side.
No escape plan for Smeb. Even his trusty cannon, by far his most successful pick in history before today. 27 games, 22-5, 82% win rate. This guy has created so many montages of teleport flanks. Seems like it might not matter today, getting solo killed in lane by Sword. Now let's talking about how Sword is the player who often is the one you can pick on the side of Griffin. That's what they went with the late cannon rotation here to change up the lane assignments, but unfortunately, nothing doing for Smeb this time. Kingen was the one there for that victory last time. Kingen might be out there next time as well.
Yeah, definitely some sad feels for KT fans, for longtime Smeb fans.
For LCK
like
fans, right?
Yeah.
Smeb is one of the most famous names in the history of Korean League of Legends, and just watch the timer here. The back time is actually fully taken by the Jarvan. And let's just see how this all started. Sword walks in, ghosts, and Smeb has no way to deal with it.
Yeah. Just gets too low on that one. Even blows his flash, too, to try to avoid the damage from the machine gun and the stopwatch.
Yeah.
But it's just not enough. It's an Urgot, for God's sake.
And
you're not going to get away from that one.
And the second part is even worse. Now he can't even team fight with a stopwatch until Zhonya's is done.
Yeah.
Lee Sin here for a counter gank. I don't really know why you would counter gank. I guess it could have just been a proactive gank, but with flash up on Sword, you're not going to try and go for a aggressive play on the Urgot. He is finally, with that kill, starting to approach the sort of gold totals you would expect around the 14-minute mark. Is there any light at the end of the tunnel for KT Rolster is a fair question to ask. They still have a lot of team fight wombo, but so far they haven't been choosing the right fights. Griffin have opened up a 2,500 gold lead, and if you get poked to death by Zoe, who already has plenty of items before the fight starts, maybe it doesn't matter about wombo combo.
Yeah. Well, trying to chase onto Lehens, who has been the one guy they've been trying to pick on the side of Griffin. At least he was able to blow some flashes, got a decent gank in the mid lane. Now they're trying to turn onto Viper here. There's the cast and the combo, but Lehens says no onto two guys behind them and gets that kill. Finally, Darius will go down to so much pressure from the side of KT, so much commitment. But two more kills do go the way of Griffin, as now Smeb going to be in a lot of trouble. Even Sword getting into the mix now as the kick does come in. Can he pick up any more kills on the bottom side? Doesn't quite look like it. Nearly able to get the ticking damage there on a Snowflower, but 3 for 1 will be the trade to the favor of Griffin.
They want the bot lane turret as well to continue to extend the gold efficiency of that trade. It's after 14 minutes, but no problem. They want the turret. They'll take it. BDD has stayed. You wouldn't have expected this. You would expect a reset. So BDD hoping for an exit kill, but none presenting from Griffin.
How about a turret? How about a Cloud Drake? And how about a very hefty gold lead here, 4,500 already at 16 minutes as Griffin once again popping off. We'll have that Mountain Drake for the next time as Chovy still having fun in the mid lane. 4-1-2.
Still only 17 years of age as well. Chovy turns 18 in March. Finally be legal to drink in many countries around the world. Might have to drink after a game like this. So watching this one here as...
Love that play from my hands.
It's a gold lead as well, right? This is where everything coalesces for the side of Griffin. Chovy chases, and for once, he doesn't hit everything on the chase onto Smeb to try to get this kill, but it's all about pressure. That was his real flash used on the chase. They eventually pick up the kill. They eventually take them down, but I feel like the damage has been done in the first game and a half rather than in that particular moment.
You can afford to make some small mistakes there towards the end of a winning team fight when you're already ahead in game number 2. As now, Viper is Darius. He returns the Darius to the top lane where he should be, as that's where Darius lives. But trying to turn the tables here is Viper tonight with the Darius in the bottom lane. Just attempting to get another turret in the top side. Won't be able to do that just yet, but you have to imagine that will fall sometime soon.
Well, Hens is just having so much fun hex flashing and control ward rushes.
I mean...
He saves Gragas. Thank you very much, Lehens. Why don't we think
He's definitely having a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Let's consider Lehens an honorary member of KT until he proves otherwise. Because so far, if you think about it...
KT's still losing 6v4. Somehow.
Somehow it's 1v12 for BDD, who isn't having the best series of his own.
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes you use Occam's Razor and you gotta call a spade and a KT player a KT player.
Well, I mean, he is 1-0-3, but he is playing like a KT player, we can say that.
Trying to get a bounty, you know? Gotta get a bounty to pass one over.
He needs to farm more, you know? He could be 0-5 and just farm up a couple minions, and all of a sudden, 400 gold above your name. You never really know with this new system.
Griffin shadowing their members here. remember, doesn't have a lot of experience because nothing much has gone the way of KT, so any sort of dive onto Chovy with Ignite up is a scary proposition. Watching the mid lane, seeing what it all means. The map state here is not desperately bad for KT, especially given the gold lead already pre-20 minutes for Griffin. But this is where things start to change. When the two-man invades come in, and even with level 2 slicing Maelstrom, Cannon is having nothing doing against Lee Sin and Urban.
This is so far behind too, 0-3. Obviously his CS numbers are low because of the Frostmancy. Ooh, BDD even missing the cannon, but you can't have it all. On some of these days, BDD's had to shoulder so much of the pressure on the KT lineup so far in the games where they win and in the games where they lose. Sometimes you gotta give them a break, so we'll see what happens in the rest of this game. Griffin very far ahead so far. As biggest loser in this one might just be Chovy's KDA.
I think KT's hopes of making it to the playoffs is right up there with it.
Yeah.
Remember, we are, guys, if you're joining us late, this is, of course, LCK Summer Rematch. First time these two teams have played since that famous 5-game best-of-5. And while that was a turnaround on a 2-1 lead into a 3-2, feels weird to call 3-2 from 2-1 a reverse sweep, but, you know, basically a reverse sweep by KT Rolster. Only Smeb is still there from that particular day. Score not playing today in this game. And we talked about how the expectation for this series was KT's best hope is making us actually talk about that narrative and not talking about it as a false one. Snowflower almost loses his entire health bar, and here we go.
Looks like he might here as Tarzan. Well, those aren't the mechanics you were looking for, as maybe he will go down. No, Chovy gonna eventually save him, but he will eventually go down as Chovy looking for more kills on the backside. The rest of KT start the Yakety Sax as the rest of them are just on the opposite side. Nice try on that Trouble Bubble. Really looking for the angle as Chovy pulling out his protractor, getting the geometry going. Viper gonna pick up the kill as it's just a fiesta here as the game moves along as Griffin pick up 3 more kills.
Nice flank from Lehens as well, alley-ooping into the Darius for his dunk to take him down. The dunk mastering is being done on a team level. Viper actually has a Raptor Cloak, that's an item in his inventory here. Is Zerat Portal coming out, I wonder?
I mean, Griffin could probably build whatever item they want at this point, as Lehens is going to blow his flash. He's happy about that, though. He loves Hex Flash. He'll just use that for the rest of the game as BDD desperately trying to make a follow-up kill or damage or just some summoners on the Zoe happen, but it's not happening tonight.
Exactly. This is a very much 2019 normalcy rather than an extension of the past. And it's why I made that big effort to separate the importance of legacies and the history when it comes to what 2019 meta represents balance-wise, and also where the power rankings are. New Blood Rising, Griffin, the epitome of the New Blood. Second split, but looking like overwhelming favorites. We zoom out as Kennan's in trouble.
Oh boy, Smeb, look at Sword's health. He's not going to lose a single tick as down will go the Kennen. He's found again, and now it's Sword. 1v5, trying to get on in there. Zenit going to be left to the Wolves. On the backside, left to the Griffins, you can call them, as another kill goes their way. At least KT got a dream.
That's the best they could hope for. Game has gone to silly territory. It's 7,000 gold lead already. They're going to walk up to Baron, and good luck, KT, finding a way to stop them.
Yeah, well, you know, at least the two guys that went down are probably worth less gold than the full amount. 0 and 4 and 0 and 3 are the Kennen and the Yasuo now. Baron comes in here, and BDD, the most desperate LeBlanc of all time, as now Umti in a bit of trouble here. Wanted to go for the steal, as See You Later going to be pulled in there by the Darius. As now they're just looking for more kills. The damage comes in, and Viper, he's just kill stealing at this point.
I mean, you'll take it if you're the Darius, what you're all about, and damn was I a fan of the alley-oop. They was scooped 800 units there with the flip into the apprehend.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when the long arms, the law from Griffin come out? You are found guilty, and you go straight to the death chamber. They turn on a Baron, they'll get the purple worm, they'll get the 2-0, and Griffin is just another day on the Rift.
Another day at work, as nobody really can come close to this team outside of Sandbox, who is at least able to take one win in a game. But nobody has taken the series just yet. Griffin say hello and laugh at their chance of going for this streak.
Yeah, it's just not much to say, Valdez. It's just
no analysis on that one, Papa?
No, it's what we call a gold lead. Don't need anything else. You can watch it on the screen and see it.
It's all about money in this world.
The Hens plays this really well because he has a lot of options to choose a target, and he chooses the enemy smite. Enemy smite goes down, the apprehend amusing, the dunk there, frightening.
As Tarzan, what is going on with you tonight, man? He's just really having fun, and will he go down to the Ignite? The answer is absolutely no. The rest of Griffin just want to get the kills. Empty looking for the Lee Sin. Desperately, he wants to get a kill, but he will not be granted it, as he will go down now to Chovy. 3 more kills gifted to the side of Griffin, as KT have all but given up here. No real chance for them to pick up this win.
Almost found Smeb for another exit frag, and feels like frag's the right term to call it rather than kill, as the numbers are getting massive in this particular one. Bit of a fiesta here, but only on the side of KT. Controlled aggression from Griffin. This is what happens when they get going faster in the early game. They didn't even pick for the lanes, but things went their way. The inhibitor goes down, and we're just waiting on the win time from Griffin.
Griffin just so far ahead of pretty much any other team here in the LCK, and they prove it once again tonight. It's Chovy, he's got 10 stacks on a Dark Seal. He's just having a ball. He's unhappy that he died the one time. Let's take a look at how Tarzan decides to go 1v3 this time.
Now, on paper, you look at this and say, why is Tarzan doing that? But Valdez, look back and remember, for sure before this game, he said, CV Max, mate, I'm telling you, I can play Lee Sin. So he's trying to show the Lee Sin mechanics, and that's why things are a little bit wonky, a little bit disconnected from the rest of the team. They clean up because the gold lead isn't even worth talking about. But, yeah, it seems like the claim for relevance on that Tarzan Lee Sin pick is what they're shooting for.
Yeah. Well, Medallions built here for Chovy. Suppose that wasn't a surprise, especially he already has tons of damage, has a defensive item too. He's not going anywhere else in this game unless he ints a kill over to the side of KT. Doubt that will be happening. It's a lot of sad numbers on the side of KT, as once again it's just another scoreboard that tells a bit of the story of KT. It's BDD at 3-3, the rest of his team 0-6, 0-4, 0-3. Nothing really going here for KT so far in spring. Griffin continue their victory landslide of LCK.
When we have top teams, we always want to say, circle that calendar. They're playing X Team today. Who is that team for Griffin? Is it just Sandbox in the second round robin and no other team has come close? I'm excited about the Hanwha Life game just because they ran them so close first time out, but this is not Griffin versus KT, LCK summer rematch. It's Griffin versus a bottom 5 team. Nameplate's off for KT. Nameplate's definitely on for Griffin.
Well, just looking to end this game here. I'm sure they want to get some more kills, no doubt, as Umti, he flashes away, but he runs onto a trouble bubble as Svev, unfortunately, does 0 damage, and the rest of it is just going to go in the death chamber. Can they get all 5? The answer will be no for now, as they're looking for Snowflower. He's the only one to survive on the last fight of this one. A very sad and one-sided one here up against KT, but Griffin going to be happy to pick up yet another win here in the LCK.